What up, and welcome back to another episode of LSU Live, presented by our friends at FanDuel. And look, it's crazy times right now at LSU. Wild times in Baton Rouge. Constant action. It's hard to keep up with. LSU is now up to 39 transfers, up to 39 additions from the portal. Still hitting high school players, so don't forget about the high school level. Lane Kiffin is on an absolute tear. So there's a lot of news. There's a lot to get to right now. So let's jump right into it. The latest addition for LSU is one of the best players in the portal. He's actually ranked as the fifth best overall player, regardless of position, in the transfer portal. And that is an edge player from Ole Miss, so he's quite familiar with Lane Kiffin and Prince Umanmielen. And yeah, I ain't scared to say that name. It's a big name, but it sounds like it's spelled. Umanmielen, absolute big dog, one of the best edge defenders in the SEC. Had nine sacks this year, all SEC guy, and you kind of felt like it was inevitable that at some point he was going to come to LSU. The only holdup was if he was going to be able to get out of an agreement he signed as far as an NIL agreement with Ole Miss. But yeah, more about the player. 9 sacks on the year, 13 tackles for loss, absolutely dominant. I've talked on and on. I've gone on and on about LSU and what it didn't have this year on the edge from defensive ends. And I try not to knock the players that they have because they were effective in their own way. Pyburn was a good run stopper. I mean, he pretty much made his hay setting the edge at Florida. You knew what you were getting in Pyburn. Peyton from Florida State. He was a good rusher. Didn't get home often, but he was a good pass rusher, but batted a lot of balls down. All that's good. But the best team showed you in the playoffs that it's not enough to get close. You got to get there. Miami kept that game close. Yeah, you had some big players. You had some big plays from Tony. You had some big plays from Fletcher. But the sacks, getting Indiana in uncomfortable positions, third and long, that changes the game. That's a big part of the game that LSU was missing this past year. You get that with a guy like Prince Will Umanmielen. Absolute difference maker. And not only is he a guy that was productive with 9 sacks, but you want to look at when is the guy playing at his best. Like when in the big moments, under the lights, are you getting this guy's best effort? So you were getting all of 6'5", 245-pound Umanmielen in the biggest games. If you look at his game against Oklahoma, 2 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. You get to the playoffs against Tulane, 1.5 sacks. Playoffs again against Miami, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack. So this is a productive guy, but he also shined when you needed him the most. So big time addition for LSU. They continue to add to this roster, to this defense, to this defensive line, to the edge group, and that's huge. Of course, now the big name that everybody is looking for right now is Jordan Seaton, offensive tackle out of Colorado. So it's starting to get a little hairy with Seaton. Going into the week, over the weekend, you knew he had a big visit with LSU, multiple day visit. He was there for days. Monday comes and he cancels his visit to Oregon. So everybody's kind of thinking the same thing. Okay, so he cancels the visit to Oregon. Apparently he likes what he's seeing, what he's hearing from LSU. Now it is a few days later. It is now Thursday, and you keep waiting for him to sign, and people who know, people who are connected, still feel relatively confident, and it seems to be a matter of just ironing out some details. But the longer this thing goes, the more you have to wonder, what's the holdup? Okay, now it's been a couple of days. Like, how many details do you have? What exactly is the holdup? What is the last hurdle for LSU to get over to get this guy signed? Because Seaton is an absolute dog. Started for 2 years straight. Anchored the left tackle. I mean, he's got first round written all over him. It's not like you can never be 100% positive of what you're gonna get from a transfer portal guy. Like nothing is 100%. But this is as safe a bet as you can ask for. This is a guy who's not missing anything. He's 6'5", 330. He's got the feet that you want from a left tackle. He's got the movement skills. He's got the burst. He can get out. He can move. He can pull. Um, and if you just want to be a road grader and just knock somebody out the ball, he can give that to you. But yeah, absolutely a huge domino. If LSU can close the deal with Seaton, he is currently ranked as the 4th overall player in the portal, and the best left tackle, the best offensive lineman, period, in the portal. So it's pretty close to his high school recruiting days, where he was a 5-star and the #1 tackle in the country. Uh, but yeah, still waiting on word from Seaton, but we will see. He could be I guess he's too good of a player to call him the cherry on top. I don't know what you call that, but yeah, that would be a crazy addition to this offensive line and to this team, and it would absolutely make a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable about projecting what LSU can be, because I don't care how good your class is. We saw it last year. I don't care what kind of skill players you got. If you're not good up front, it's not going to work. It's not going to look good. And you're going to make for some long days and long nights for your offensive coaches trying to scheme and coach around that. Now, look, we got a lot to get to, and we want to get to it fast because, look, it's already almost 8 o'clock, and the LSU women are playing tonight at 8 against Texas A&M, and our friends at FanDuel has LSU favored by 30.5. Over 30 points in an SEC game. So that goes to show you a couple things, what they think of LSU and what the public thinks of Texas A&M's women's basketball team. But yeah, we want to get to that a little bit later. But 30.5 is a little tempting, considering what we've seen from A&M so far and considering what you're seeing from LSU. Okay, this is a football show, but let's talk some basketball for a second. Everybody knows about Flau'jae. Everybody knows about Michaela Williams. Everybody knows about Full Wiley from South Carolina. Jada Richard stepped up against Oklahoma. That can be huge. LSU is of course deficient down low with their women's team, and you got a couple of players starting to step up. But when you got 4 guards that can handle, that can pass, that can make decisions, if you add Richard to that bunch, that'll be crazy. He had 21 and 5 rebounds last game out. But again, this is a football show, so let's get back to this LSU transfer class that is absolutely nuts right now. Just to give you an idea of how impressive this class is. And look, when I say this, I'm not saying this because this is an LSU show and that's what everybody wants to hear. These are just the facts. These are objective facts that can't be argued. So in the transfer portal, over multiple levels, D1, D2, D3, all in all, you had over 10,000 kids in the transfer portal, which is mind-boggling. It's hard to even comprehend that many people being out, going out on a limb and making themselves available, possibly not getting a spot back or the option to come back to where they left. So you got over 10,000 in. Of the top 100, LSU has 8. The top 100 players in the transfer portal, LSU has 8 of them, and this is going by 247's rankings. So it's absolutely crazy to have that many elite players. When you're talking about the top 100, considering how many total players were in the portal, you get 8 of them. That's elite. That's doing work. Starting with the first overall player. The highest ranked, the #1 player in the portal, regardless of position, is Sam Levitt. He's a Tiger. He's at LSU. I just talked about Umami Ellen. He's ranked 5th. Hussein Longstreet. He's 21st. So you got two of the best quarterbacks in the portal. Absolutely crazy. Up to 39 commitments right now. And when you mention that number of 39 commitments, here's what a lot of people are going to say. I've been seeing it already, and you know it's coming anyway because the nature of the internet tough guy is cynical, and you say 39 commitments, and that guy's gonna say, well, yeah, of course they're number one. It's 39 commitments. That's a lot of players. That's more than everybody else is taking. They're just number one because they are taking more players than everybody else. All right, so let's forget about the 39. Let's forget about that number. Let's look at the average rating of commitment, which is 88.34. Again, this is 247 Sports. So your average player rating in this class is 88.34. So that has nothing to do with how many players you got. This is just an average. That average is higher than the second ranked team in the portal, Ole Miss. It's higher than Penn State, who's ranked fifth. These are all great classes. Texas Tech, who's been just killing it in the portal the last 2 years, they're ranked number 8 right now. That 88.34 rating is higher than all three of those teams and a lot of other ones, but I threw those out there because they were top 10 ranked transfer portal classes, so that makes them more relevant to the conversation. But that's just so you understand. It's not just a matter of LSU assigning so many that some of them got to hit. No, these are all highly thought of, highly rated, well-equipped players to come in and help your team immediately. So, absolutely crazy. 39 commitments. By far, LSU, if you go by the point system, they have by far the best class in the country right now. And not only does LSU have the best transfer portal class in the country, if you go by 247's rankings, they have the highest rated class in the last 4 off seasons. The last 4 years, LSU has the highest rated class right now. And I like, everybody likes rankings. Everybody likes to be able to look at a list and argue about that list and what team belongs where, what guy belongs where. But this class is good. It goes beyond the rankings when you're talking about how impressive this group of guys is. Because you got a little bit of everything that you're looking for when you're trying to add to a team. You got star power in this class. You got guys like Sam Levitt, like Umami Ellen, like one of the best safeties in this transfer portal class with Todd Benefield from Boise State. He's going to come in. He's going to start right away. Will he be Halsey? No, he's a different type of player than A.J. Halsey, but he's going to be very impactful at the safety spot. So you got star power established. You got guys with starting experience who will come in expecting to start. Guys like Sean Tompkins at left tackle out of Baylor. Guys like Stephon Green at D tackle out of Clemson. Not necessarily stars at this point. Are you looking at them as a first day draft pick? Got some work to do. But these are guys who have started, who played good ball, and they're going to come in ready to contribute. You also have guys who were highly rated coming out of high school, but haven't exactly tapped into their potential yet. So you got some potential stars in guys like an edge, Jordan Ross from Tennessee, former 5-star quarterback Hassan Longstreet, who nobody thought you were gonna get. You got a guy with first round physical traits who came to LSU with the understanding that in all likelihood I'll be a backup this year. So that's the kind of class that you got coming to Baton Rouge right now. And I say that so you can kind of gain an appreciation in the moment of what this staff is doing. This staff has hit the ground running. I talked about Jordan Seaton's recruitment, and you're seeing stuff that you just haven't seen nor heard about in the last few years. You got a guy in Lane Kiffin. Seaton leaves, he goes to Atlanta. Kiffin flies to Atlanta. Levitt left and went to Tennessee. Kiffin flies to Tennessee. So that kind of effort, laying it out on the line, yeah, he's tweeting everything. Yeah, he's making sure you know about it. But the effort is there. And you didn't have that same kind of effort under the last regime, at least not from the head coach. I think a lot of the assistants, they were putting in the work. Because you still had some really good classes at LSU. But as far as your top guy, the face of the program, he was not putting in the work that Kiffin is putting in right now, and that's a big reason why Kiffin has gained this reputation in the transfer portal as the portal king. Whether he named himself that or not, it's proven to be true. Um, Understand though, yeah, you signing this great class. Expectations come with that. As you keep adding to the tool bag, all over the place. Quarterback, wide receiver, added like at least 9 wide receivers. Uh, Seems like another one signs every week. But across all the position groups, you're adding talent, you're adding proven talent, you're adding young guys who could develop, and everything in between. And as impressive as that is, nothing is guaranteed. Absolutely nothing is guaranteed. Like, this is great for right now, but it doesn't mean that LSU is automatically a playoff team. It definitely doesn't mean that LSU is automatically a championship team. Um, there's a lot to learn about this team, and we'll see how much access you get in the spring. You know, everybody's kind of moving away from spring games. We'll see how it plays out. Ole Miss didn't have a traditional spring game last year with pretty much the same staff, at least offensively and with your head guys. So uh, I wouldn't think that we'd see like a spring game. Definitely not like a spring game in a traditional sense, but we'll see how much access you get to see these guys and how they come together. But don't get it twisted. Because you sign a bunch of guys who are highly rated and produced at a high level, that does not guarantee you anything come fall. Because for one, talent can't do it alone. It's not going to be all about talent. You look at a team like Indiana, um, and you see how they've played. You see how they've dominated people. And you think, well, man, Indiana must be killing it in the portal. And Indiana has killed it in the portal, but not so much in a way that you would think. They haven't killed it as far as number one classes. They've killed it with evaluation and getting older guys who understand the game, who know the game, who have grown into their bodies. They've matured, and they've bought in wholeheartedly into what Signetti is selling. So just to give you an example, I want to look back at the past couple of classes at Indiana, and you look at that and you see what Indiana has turned into, and it makes the job that the coaching staff did even more impressive. So 2025 Indiana's transfer portal class was ranked 25th. No 5 stars in that group. You got a 25th ranked group in 25. 2024, Signetti's first year, they were ranked 30th. Again, no 5 stars in that group. LSU has 2 5 stars and 11 4 stars in this group of transfers. So again, it's not gonna just come down to talent. It's gonna come back to teaching, developing, and getting guys to buy in. Now, you would think that from Kiffin's history, he should be set. He should be set in that regard. You've seen him develop. You've seen him take guys who weren't very highly regarded coming out of high school and develop them into NFL guys. You've seen him take guys who were already developed, plug them in, and win with them. Uh, and the teaching part of it, when you look at the play of his quarterbacks, you know the teaching is there because, yeah, you're recruiting talented guys, but you're not gonna most teams and most people aren't gonna hit on every quarterback. So that means when you see these guys come in and they're consistently productive year after year, it's some teaching going on, it's some understanding of the system, and you're seeing that from Kiffin. So LSU should be pretty well set up for success. But again, don't get ahead of yourself as far as, okay, I'm buying tickets to the next championship. Just hold your horses. It still got to play out, and you don't know how it's going to play out. But you do know that LSU has more to work with than they've had in quite some time. So you look at this class, and it's so many kids that have come, so many new additions that it's hard to really take it all in. For the average fan, it's hard to really keep up. Really, for anybody, for guys who work in this every day, it's hard to keep up with exactly what LSU has added and how much better LSU has gotten. So I decided to do a little fun exercise and rank this class by position groups. And some groups won't be ranked because there weren't a lot of them. And there weren't a lot of additions in that group. Let's say tight ends, you added 2 tight ends. Linebackers, you didn't add a lot there. Now you added some good players, but as far as a group, you didn't add a lot. So won't every group be ranked? But I just did a top 5 to help you get to know this team better and what it's added. And we're gonna start at 5 with this group. And at 5, it was pretty tough. It's still tough now. Even though I've written it down, it's still tough because I want to give the running back room some credit. But it's a couple of names in this secondary that make me think twice, and I can't leave them out. So the top 5 groups, I'm starting at number 5 with the secondary. In this secondary, LSU has added a lot of safeties in the transfer from the transfer portal. And when you add a guy like Ty Benefield, and if you haven't seen him, he's going to be fun to watch. Benefield is going to come downhill. He's going to be fun to watch. If you've been an LSU fan for a long time, think a run support safety in the Eric Reed mode. Like, yeah, he can do what he has to do on the back end, but he is not hesitant in the least to come up and help in the run. And they're saying it in a very conservative way. He's going to come up and knock heads off. Benefield is the truth. And one name that everybody's going to be glad to hear is Fahim Delane. And after seeing what LSU got from Mansour Delane, his brother at corner, hey, look, get me out of the lanes y'all got. You got some more brothers, cousins, whatever. Send them on down to Baton Rouge. Delane, his career hadn't exactly taken off at Ohio State. He's coming from Ohio State. You're playing against you're playing behind a first round guy in Caleb Downs. Maybe the best player in the draft overall. So you're not really getting a lot of run. You're not getting a lot of publicity. But physically, he has the tools. He has the range. And he was a highly rated guy. So you also added Traylon James, safety from Southern University, just going to come across town and put on the purple and gold. And you got a bit of a project in Mason Dossett, very fast safety from Baylor, who also played on the offensive side of the ball a little bit. But the big names here are going to be Benefield and Delane as far as who I think can be truly ready to add to this team in the first year. So I had to put the safeties in at number 5. And putting the safeties in, I left out the running backs. I don't want to go too far and leave them out because I do want to speak to the variety of backs that LSU has added. So the average person is not going to know most of these names with guys like Racine Guillory from Utah, Rod Gainey from Charlotte, Dylan Jones from Wisconsin. But you do have some variety with a guy like Jones, who's a physical guy, can get some tough yards. You have the quicker guy like Guillory. And out of Guillory, Gainey, Jones, and Stacey Gage, all of them are freshmen. So not only have you added a variety of skill sets to this running back room, you've also added some youth and guys who can grow and develop and help you down the road. They'll be around for a while. Whichever ones you keep, you're not going to keep all of them because that's the nature of the game in this day and age. But for the ones who stay, you got time to make something out of them. All right, so we got honorable mention running backs. We got number 5 secondary. The 4th best position group that LSU has added from the transfer portal is the offensive line. And LSU has a chance to really raise the profile of this group if you can finish the deal with Seton. If LSU finishes the deal with Jordan Seton, then this group is going to elevate most definitely in my rankings. But as for now, again, you got a variety. You got guys who you don't have a lot of established stars. Like, okay, we can bring this guy in and just lean on him. He's a first round Will Campbell top 10 pick. No, you don't have that right now. But you do have some depth pieces, some guys who you got a lot of wild cards because these guys have played at so many different levels. The Jaquan Sprinkle coming from North Carolina Central, Jacoby Jones coming from JUCO. You got Jamar Jones from Nickel. So you don't always know how guys are going to transition coming from levels like that. Now you've seen it work out to where guys can step up and be successful. You've seen guys step up and never play it down and leave the next year. So there's a lot of unknown with the O line, but there are some knowns too. You also have some guys who are most likely going to come in and start, like Ali Uba from Maryland, who's an established starter, veteran guy. He's probably going to come in and start at guard for you. I don't know which side yet. Sean Tompkins, I mentioned him earlier from Baylor. He's been a steady starter for Baylor at left tackle. So you get somebody, even if you don't get Seaton, you got a guy who started on the left side. Uh, if you get Seaton, you got more competition for Weston Davis on the right side, but you got another tackle. You got another tackle in Darren Stray, who was recruited by LSU's current offensive line coach when he was at Kentucky in Wolford. So this is a deep group. Let's see, this is 10 offensive linemen that you've added as of now. Of course, you're still trying to add another big one, but an impressive group, and I'm going to be very curious to see how some of these guys from the smaller schools step up and transition at LSU. O-line at number 4. At number 3, for the top groups that LSU, position groups that LSU has added from the portal, is going to be on the D-line. And I'm going to include the edge guys on that D-line with this group. I'm calling defensive ends, defensive linemen, because they've been defensive linemen all my life. So, yeah, we calling people edges now. I get it. Because defensive end and outside linebackers become interchangeable in a lot of systems. But I'm calling them D-linemen. So here we go. D-linemen, you got guys who've played a lot of football. Stephon Green from Clemson. He's a D tackle. He's going to come in and help you. He's going to help Dominic McKinley. And don't forget that LSU signed a monster D tackle class from the high school level. So you get deeper in that position, you get more experience. That's a help. You got some edge guys like Jalen Brown, who I think had an injury last year at South Carolina. You'll get a chance to see what he can do in the SEC this year. Got quality interior guys like Malik Blockton from Auburn. Jordan Ross, very athletic guy, athletic freak. Came to Tennessee as a 5-star kid, and now he'll be back at LSU to, not back, but he'll leave Tennessee, come to LSU, and see if he can tap into that potential he has as a high-end pass rusher. So you look at a guy like Jordan Ross teamed up with Ramon Allen on the other side, and now you're getting that combination of, okay, where am I going to focus? If I'm an offensive line coach or if I'm an offensive coordinator, how am I going to account for both of these guys? And that's the kind of stuff that made Miami so hard to deal with for a lot of teams. Now, time will tell if these guys can develop into the force that the tandem that Miami did, but you're dealing with a lot of potential here, and you really can get yourself into a situation where you don't have to blitz as much. And look, if you can disrupt and create pressure with your front four on a Blake Baker defense, imagine the possibilities that Blake Baker can come with, especially when you can cover with guys like Pickett and Woodland back there. So D-line comes in at number 3 in my transfer portal edition groups. At number 2, we have the wide receiver group. Wide receiver group is crazy. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The wide receiver group that's coming to LSU is crazy. And Some of these guys you've heard of, like Trey Wilson at Florida, like Jace Brown from K-State. Some of these guys have played in under the big lights, P4 conferences, meaningful games, and you'll be familiar with them. Some of them you haven't. Guys like Jackson Harris, guys like Trey Brown, guys like 6'4" Roman Mothershed out of Troy. So you got you got slot guys, you got classic outside X receiver guys. You got a little bit of everything, but you got a lot of big playability. That's what sticks out with this receiver group. Even the guys in this group who weren't necessarily speed demons, like a Jackson Harris, still average 20 yards per catch. So these are guys who can stretch the defense vertically, who can be threats downfield. We have big bodies, and you got smaller guys. You just got a little bit of everything, and you needed it. You had to have it because you lost so much from your original receiver room. And don't forget the guys who stayed. Definitely don't want to leave out the guys who stayed. These guys are joining the guy who stayed at LSU, like Phillip Wright from Destrehan, who has the speed to get deep whenever he feels like it. So at number 2, it's going to be the wide receivers. Number 1, the most impressive group that LSU has added from the transfer portal by position has got to be quarterback. Starting with the top player in the portal with Sam Levitt. Starting your next guy up is 21st. Regardless of position, he's 21st in the portal with 11,000 kids who signed Longstreet. And just for a little razzle dazzle, let's throw in Landon Clark, who is coming from Elon, but he had offers from Michigan and other major players in college football. So, yeah, this quarterback room is absolutely transformed, and I won't just harp on it because I went on and on. I gushed about them last week, but this is easily the most impressive position group as far as transfer portal additions for LSU, and you can't say enough about him. You got a ready-made starter in Levitt. If he comes back healthy, you're talking about a guy who's played at a very high level and in high stakes games and can make all the throws, and he's got the mobility to be a great fit for a Kiffin offense. And worst case scenario, you still got 2 guys behind him who you trust. A guy like Longstreet with rare traits. Longstreet's arm is the best on the team and one of the best at the college football level. Hussein Longstreet was not ranked as a 5-star for nothing, just because he came from California. I know California produces a lot of quarterbacks, but yeah, this dude is absolutely the truth, and it says a lot about the staff to be able to get him to come on board when he could have gone a lot of places and walked into a starting spot. But it also says something about him and his maturity to be able to be willing to come in and work, and not be handed anything. So, in a very impressive transfer portal class, you have the most impressive group is going to be quarterback at 1, wide receiver at 2, D-line at 3, O-line at 4, and at secondary at 5. Speaking of secondaries, I told y'all I'm not going to forget about the high school level when it comes to recruiting, and that's really one of the things that I don't like about. There's a lot not to like about where things are going right now. What I do like is kids are getting paid, and for a long time they have generated the money, but they haven't been able to capitalize off their efforts, off of what their talent is demanding. So finally they're able to get paid. So I like that. What you don't like is the instability. You never know where somebody's going to be from. I mean, it's to the point now where you can sign a contract and still leave. There's so many loopholes, and it's hard to enforce anything. But what I was getting at was, as more kids and more kids and more kids jump in the portal, less kids are having opportunities to come from the high school level and play college ball. So I'm always going to make it a point to give credit where it's due to these high school kids who work hard and earn spots, because it's not easy to do. It's harder than ever for the high schooler who's not like a big name 5-star kid to get noticed. On that note, LSU took another high school recruit this past week, safety from Shaw. So always good to have some connections in Shaw. It's a powerhouse. They're always producing talent. Always going to be in the dome. If they're not, they're close. But Jackson Williams is a 6'2", 170-pound safety. At one time, he was committed to Tulane. At another time, he was committed to Washington State. And I wanted to make sure that I mentioned him, not only because he deserves that recognition, but also I want people to understand, just because a guy isn't a 5-star or a big name guy, doesn't mean that he can't have a very highly productive career and go on to the next level. So as of now, Jackson Williams is the last kid from Louisiana for the class of 2026 to get a scholarship offer, and he is committed. So on that note, I want to talk about a few other guys who got LSU offers very late in their high school careers. Some of them were just like Williams, the last offer to go out from the state, and look how they turned out. So of those guys, you have Deion Jones, NFL, Foster Moreau, NFL, Saints, Duke Riley, NFL, Russell Gage, underrated at LSU, still underrated now, NFL, out of Baton Rouge, Redemptorist. And the last guy I think everybody is going to know, who got an offer very late. He was not a 5-star dude. Most people had him 3. I think Rivals was the first to bump him up to a 4 after a few impressive camp showings, dominant camp showings. And that is Tyrann Mathieu, who did not get an LSU offer until late in his career. So I say that to say, remember the name Jackson Williams. Don't count him out. Don't assume that he won't make his mark at LSU because he wasn't a big name. He wasn't a big-time recruit. He wasn't a 5-star. He has as much opportunity as anybody. So wanted to acknowledge him and acknowledge the fact that you can't overlook anything. And you got to love that the fact that this LSU staff is not overlooking anything or anybody or any school when it comes to finding players. That being said, I want y'all to like, subscribe. Like and subscribe. It's free to you. It helps me, so do that. Like and subscribe to LSU Live on YouTube. Also follow me on Twitter and TikTok at CFBLou. Follow my work on lastwordonsports.com. Great group of writers over there, so check us out for all things football and all things sports. Till next time, I will holler at y'all later.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.